Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be talking about the root center. I'm going to be talking about the difference in the pressure held with defined versus undefined in this root channel or root center, sorry. And I'm going to be explaining all 9 gates that are in the root center as well. So if you haven't gone onto my channel or watching my videos, welcome to my channel. My name is Sammy Mills and I am a 5/1 emotional projector. And just so you know, for this video, I do have a defined root and it is connected through my solar plexus. All right, so let's explain the open root and the defined root. So as you know, there are 4 motors. There's the sacral, there's the root, there's the will, and there's the solar plexus. This is technically the weakest of all 4 of those. However, the pressure that it holds can feel like it's very amplified, even though I think sometimes it's kind of a little under the radar, like the actual things I'm going to express to you, I don't think it's talked about very much. So it's very interesting when I kind of went and dove deep into, you know, how this pressure and this stress can really build up and how people with open centers can really feel pressured by others, even when it's not there. So I'm here to break that all down for you. So let's start with if you have an open center. So you're going to hold a lot of stress to get things done. Okay. As we know, the head center is also a pressure center. I have that open, so I can have this pressure to feel like I have to figure out all the answers or have all these ideas, when in reality, not knowing is actually the beauty of having that open head. Being able to just never knowing everything is okay with me, you know, but I had to get comfortable with that energy, be comfortable with never fully having truth in things. And it wasn't easy for me. I mean, I'm a 5/1, so it wasn't easy. Like my line 1 was like, no, I need to dig deeper. But I realized that you have to work with the energy that you have. And so by doing that, we will see how this comes back to the root. You know, it's like the mirror of the head center. So where the root, you want to get things done, you know, you want to get things started, you want to, you know, this is like where your energy, how you deal with things, how you deal with stress, how you deal with relationships, depending on where you're going, whether you're going through your sacral, your solar plexus, or your spleen. If you're defined, you still have a specific way of dealing with the stress. But if you have an open center, you have this pressure to get things done, and this pressure can cause a lot of conditioning. And I want to make that very clear, and I'm going to say that again. This can cause a lot of conditioning. Your adrenal pressure and stress are so strong around people with a closed root, even when no one is technically pressuring you. So what do I mean by that? So I have a defined root. So I could say something, let me think of an example here. I could be talking about this, and you could think, if you had an open root, that like, oh my God, I feel so pressured to know all this information. I feel so pressured to figure it all out. And I have this giant list now of things I have to research and blah, blah, blah. And like, you know, that's obviously not what I'm doing. Like that's not the intention or anything that I said, but because of the fact that I have that defined, I have also my solar plexus defined. So if you had that open as well, that would amplify it. You know what I'm saying? So these motors, whether this is the weakest one or not, can really, really be triggering for people who have them open, because they feel so much pressure put on them by other people from their interpretations of the emotion that is being put out by someone else. So I could really feel pressure at my job or feel like I have to get something done. And if you're around me and you have that open root, you could feel like you have to like start making lists for me and all. But the thing is that you have to realize is that it's not your pressure. So understanding and being okay and loving and realizing this about yourself is beautiful, both for people who are defined and both for people who are undefined. But if you are undefined in the root, it is significantly more important that you address and let people know that you might need to clarify something or ensure that like there's nothing you can do, so you're allowed to get that pressure back in balance with yourself. I think everybody deserves that. I think everybody deserves to feel comfortable clarifying things, because we've become so unable to just accept that others are different, that it's like we're so quick to judge or be like, oh my God, like, why are you overreacting? Why do I need to clarify this? Instead of just sitting down and being like, no, this isn't how you work differently than I do, and I love you and accept you. So it is important that I respect and understand how your energy works as well. I think we could all learn a lot about love through the root center and how to navigate it through the people that we know who are undefined, or if you are undefined, people who are defined. I think it's just a matter of being kind with ourselves and being kind with others' energy as well. So if you have an undefined center, this all stems from fear of not knowing enough or not doing enough. So you have this pressure to do everything. But this list stops you from resting because you feel like you can't rest until it's all done. But the joke is, it's not really a joke, but like, it will never be done. There will always be more pressure. And that's the thing. Just like I had to with my head center realize I'm never going to know everything. And some of these things I don't need to know, but I'm okay with not knowing. I'm okay with having enough truth through emotional waves of things that are more human, and to be magical and in my imagination when it comes to my ajna in my head. For people who have open root centers, what they need to understand is that you have to start getting comfortable with the pressure. You just have to get comfortable and realize that it might always be there. But how bad would it be if you just allowed yourself to rest? Because I bet it would be a lot better. You do have serious risk for burnout if you don't understand that energy or what gates you have and how to navigate it the best way possible. So I warn you again, there is a lot of conditioning when you have this open. So be aware of that. Divine timing is something that I think is really important to express with having this, or the way that our root center is. I am going to talk about defined roots for just a moment. And the reason I want to talk about them and divine timing and the way we can kind of influence it instead of push it would be that, so for example, if you had your root center defined by, let's say, gate 53 and 42, so 53 to 42, that was the channel that you had, or any of those top three ones, right, going to the sacral center. So those are going to be all about how your energy works. It's actually a really powerful thing to have those, because it shows you a lot about what you're here to do in life, and your whole chart is actually pretty easy for people to read and understand like where your energy needs to go, which is really kind of amazing. But it's going to be how you kind of live and how you are in life. If you are like me, like I have the gate 19. Oh, I have the gate 19 to 49. I have that as my channel. And so I am to the solar plexus. And so with the solar plexus, it's all about feeling the right thing over time. I say this all the time, but I feel like when you have like that channel for me, it kind of just like makes me have to be grounded, have to be rooted in order for me to feel my emotions and the emotional wave and to get the joy and the everything that comes in between that with the emotional waves, and to understand and accept and stay grounded when I don't feel my best, when I do feel like I'm in a low, I'm able to stay more grounded because of the way that I've navigated how to use that defined root center, realizing that in those moments, there's no reason to stress because it will come again. I'll go through this cycle again, and just allowing myself to let go of this need to have truth in the moment, but rather have truth over time, has completely changed my relationships in the most amazing way. And that's the thing, no matter how you are defined or undefined in your chart in any way, there's beauty in it once you understand it and once you get it and you see it. Like, oh gosh, there's so much beauty. And so then if you were connected to the spleen, so say you had 58 to 18, then your spleen would be more in the now, and you would be doing a lot of this out of fear. And not to say that that's a bad thing. We are kind of moving into a wave where emotions tend to be how we're thinking more, just throughout, we'll see that in the next, years to come. But I think that the spleen is incredibly powerful, and fear can also be a very powerful way to survive and how we've been a lot of our lives. And so you'll just kind of have more of an instinct, I guess, with it. And it will be more in the now, not in the overtime. Of course, with anything follows strategy and authority. I just mean specifically for the root to the spleen. Okay, so yeah, that's about all I wanted to say on those two differences in the root being open and or defined. So let's go ahead and move on to the gates. All right, so we have gate 41. So gate 41 is the gate of contraction or the gate of fantasy. It is the collective human experience. The root center, all human experiences start here. I love this gate. So there is this pressure for new experiences and to gain experience in the world. And even if you are defined, this is still very true. You will still feel that pressure. Its pressure is desire that makes this so powerful. Its source is to make the very best out of very little through limitation. And so this limitation comes, basically, it's not here to set us up for failure. This limitation is actually a beautiful thing, because by having very little and having these limitations, we actually maximize it by our ability to dream and use creativity to amplify and to be resilient with whatever we're doing. That actually makes the very best out of the very little. It's where like human beings get to create something, make it their own. And so these limitations almost make it better. And then that limitation can be reached. And it's the reflection and the ability to store in history through your history, through your experiences that guide us. We can enter an experience without having to do it, meaning that people with this gate might want to have a lot of experiences, but they don't necessarily need to experience it. For example, they could read it, watch about it, dream about it. Again, I say not everyone needs to fulfill this. So desiring things that are reasonable and practical for you are very, very key here. Strategy and authority, strategy and authority. But it can take experiences that are not practical for you either for you to still need to live out, which is then also, again, the reading, the watching, dreaming about it. But even if it takes a little work and guts and dream and you want to do it, I think pretty much anything's possible here. All right, so we just talked about gate 41, which is right here. Now we're going to be talking about gate 39. So that's still going to be on the right side there. So gate 39 is provocation. So these are passionate and creative people. They can provoke people into their sole purpose. breaking that down, what I mean by provoking people into their soul purpose here is that they see a problem, but it's with their energy, not by their words necessarily, that can bring up discomfort in others, that can bring up something that maybe they do feel down about themselves. They do want to change, they do want to fix. And it's not necessarily even like they point it out. I think bomb dropping probably does happen for people who have gate 39, but like, it's not intentional either. So these people aren't doing it like intentionally. I mean, I'm sure there are people that do, but for the most part, people aren't. Because a lot of the times it's in the subtleties of not speaking that you still feel that energy, like, oh my God, that person knows, like that person is aware of this and they see the problem. And so seeing this problem with their energy can make people feel uncomfortable. So you, as someone who has gate 39, must be able to make sure you stay in love, because this gate only works with the person's ability to stay in love and to be of service by being who you truly are and showing people by action that being yourself is the best way to stand in love. And by doing that, you're literally showing other people that they can be themselves too, and that they can talk freely about things that aren't perfect in their life. It gives you an ability to show up and to fight a problem with love. And who doesn't want that? So just be mindful of the power with this, and also please follow your strategy and authority, because this creates a loving space to use action or words to push people towards abundance. All right. Come here, Callie. Sorry, my dog's crying a lot. So we have the gate 19, which is going to be the last one on the right there. So the gate 19 is the gate of approach. This is a highly sensitive channel. I have this channel as well. You're able to see the survival needs to help the community with food, water, and shelter. There is a vulnerability and heart in this gate. And when it's amplified, this gate has so much possibility of abundance and the value of sharing and helping their community. Even though this is kind of a survival type of thing, it is a very sensitive gate as well. And so, we're coming from the root center where all things are, really started and created there as well. So just again, taking and understanding that just like, the most like things that we take for granted, the most can also be a beautiful and vulnerable place for people with the gate 19 to shine and to show up and to just bring something and to cherish the moments of having a picnic outside with your friends and to be so grateful and so vulnerable and heartfelt when someone does it for you. Because I don't know, I think if we just stand in that kind of love more, just so much beauty can happen. All right, so let's see, we got gate 52. So this one's going to be going up to gate 9 for the sacral center here. So we're up on the top now. Gate 52, the gate of perspectives or the gate of stillness. I love this gate. So to allow yourself to see the big picture and to sit in stillness in order to stay grounded. I feel like this is a very patient gate. Only then are you truly able to make a choice on where your energy is needed most. There is creativity in this gate. There's a lot of creative energy, a willingness to just sit and wait for the right timing or the perfect moment to reveal themselves. So, it could be someone like, I don't know why this is going to be the example I use, but someone who's like a fisherman who's just been like waiting for so long to get that perfect fish. I don't know. I don't even fish, but this is just what I expect it to be like, or what like the shows make it seem like. And then it's like so perfect and they just know, and they have this ability to just stay so chill until it happens. That could be wrong, but that's what I like to believe fishing is like. So just use my example for what it is. I think this gate is really cool and it can teach us a lot about patience. But if you don't know this about yourself, it can also be, you might not be able to sit in that, So if this is something new for you, take a little bit of time, just try it out. So we are at gate 60. So we're The top one would be to 3. So we're still at going up to the sacral on the top of the root center here. Gate 60, the gate of limitation or acceptance. So this is in the root center. It is undefined. If it's undefined, it wants to get rid of the pressure. Openness will amplify your impatience with limitations. So just know that if you also have an undefined root center and then you have the gate 60, that you're going to really be amplifying the impatient feeling with these limitations. Format, energy, and root of the individual mutation. Gate of acceptance of limitation is the first step to transcendence. So what is the, what is the deepest truth? Wants to find the heart of our human design chart. So gate 60 is really all about just like, what is the biggest truth? You know what I'm saying? Like they want to figure out the heart of things. If we act correctly within the limitation of something, we transcend it. We are able to accept and surrender to our form and opening up our spirit and light to our personality, which is beautiful. And gate 60, first gate, is the polarity, both pressure gates. So the acceptance of mutation until mutation takes place. Everything is limited and accepted until it mutates. I know that this is going to sound like a lot, but I'll kind of explain at the end. So just stay with me. There is no knowing until you know. Mutation may not come. All one can do is accept, must remain harmonic and deal with external limitation. Okay. So far what we have is we have a gate of limitation or acceptance. So obviously what you can see here is that you want to find these deep rooted answers, right? But the only way you're going to find them is to be comfortable not knowing them. Which is like, oh, I feel like people with gate 6 are like, oh my God, no. Like, oh, I can just feel the angst. But like, it's okay. We're going to breathe through it. Because the thing is that there is no knowing until you know. And you can't know until the mutation takes place. And you don't know when that's going to happen. So without knowing that limit, you won't realize it was a limit until it gets crossed. But the thing is even when mutation arises, there will always be a new mutation and always a new limitation. It's constantly replaced, always going to be limitations, so must accept the process as it is. So just be happy with where you are, and then boom, you'll be like, now I know this, and then you'll move up. It's like leveling in a Mario game, but not even playing. You're just chilling. I don't know. That's the best example I could come up with. So, all right. Gate 53 is the last one going up to sacral to 42. Gate 53 is the gate of beginnings and starting of things. This gate could bring energy and experience when responding that is either correct for just them or the right energy for the ones around them at the time. This gate is not about finishing and can have a lot of unfinished projects, but this gate is about starting and bringing energy, the right experiences around the right people or for themselves, kind of just by, I don't want to say luck, but just by instinct. I don't know, just kind of right place, right time. The key insight on when it feels right and when it is correct for you is that there'll be this timing when people and things align for you to just finish them without a lot of effort. Just naturally, you'll find opportunities to respond to people who might be correct in finishing it for you. So the things that you're really supposed to finish in life often will come easy because those people will already be there or want to be involved or be like the right people to collaborate with to help finish or to take maybe the beginning idea that you had or a project that you might have started and take it into something greater. So work with that and see what feels right for you. So now we're going to gate 54. So this is the first one to go to the spleen on the left side. So gate 54 is gate of ambition or gate of drive. Has the drive to lay foundation of ideas and energetically sending it out into the world with help and support. The biggest thing that I want to say about gate 54 is that you have a lot of risk of burnout here because you can push and push and push. But what you need to understand is that you need help and support in this gate. Just because you want something so bad and you push and push and push, if you don't feel like you're getting recognized, there's going to be a lot of bitterness here. When it has help and support, this gate, and it is recognized, it can take the potential of that foundation of whatever that is to the highest level, the highest potential. So pay attention to that and pick and choose your battles of what's worth fighting for. All right, gate 38, right underneath 54, the gate of the fighter. All right, so gate 38 is an interesting one. So you have this ability in time to know what's worth fighting for. That's kind of like the role of this gate. Like, what's worth holding on to? What do I want to fight for in this life? This gate will be unique to yourself. This gate, without you knowing you have it, can feel very lonely though, because people might push you away because they are like, oh, what choices is that person making? And or you can have people who over time, you'll realize that waiting for that invitation, because you do want to wait for that invitation for this kind of gate, that people who ask you what's going on instead of pushing you away, those are the ones that you actually want to hold on to and are going to be vital to your life most of the time. I'm not saying always, but most likely that is true. And probably have the same values as you. So it might be lonely for a little bit, but this will also give you this ability to start standing up for others who can't stand up for themselves. And you'll learn that through the loneliness that you might feel at the beginning of life. But these things that you find worth fighting for can only be determined by you. And with the stubbornness in this gate, you do so as much as possible with love and hold the things you value with love. That is how you win here. Just don't hold things out of fear. Hold things because you love them, not because you're afraid to lose them. That's what I think the biggest battle would be on this gate. All right, so here's the point on the slide where I'm going to point out this idea of loving different things and accepting we aren't for every single person in this life. So when I was writing this, I was writing in gate 38, the gate of the fighter, I started having this like kind of epiphany of something I kind of have been thinking about in my head for a while, of how, we have like an intense need to love the same things. Like if someone doesn't like literally, if someone's like, oh my God, you like chocolate ice cream? You're like, why not vanilla? It's like become this huge thing where it's like, even the tiniest things, it can't be different. And so I started thinking about, the gate 38, the fighter who, he knows what he wants to hold on to, or she knows what is valuable to her, but people might push her away because of the decisions she made because they're not the same as someone else's. But what I don't understand is like, why do we want everyone to have the same values or all the same things? Because guess what? We aren't for every single person in this life. As a 5-1 emotional projector, I know this story all too well. If I was for everyone, I would be stressing out. I would be stressing, okay? Stressing. I'd be like, we have now moved to a Twilight Zone episode and I'm going to die soon because this is crazy. This isn't normal. And I feel like with social media, we have this tendency to feel like everyone has to like us. Everyone has to believe the same things we do. And it's like, cut that mindset out. Cut it out. Just get rid of it because it's stupid. It's dumb. Just value what you love and you will find people that value those things too. And stand in love and have integrity for what other people value too. Don't put others down just because they don't like the same things as you, because it doesn't mean that what they like isn't less valuable. All right, got very serious there. I am sorry. Let's get back to gate 58. So gate 58, the gate of vitality and the gate of joy. This is the last one here going to the spleen and the last one we're going to talk about. So the gate 58 is to live in the flow of joy, and understanding that joy is something that grows with mastery and time. Oh, I love this. I love that wording right there. Like, I mean, I wrote it, but like, I'm really proud of myself. Like to live in the flow of joy and understanding that joy is something that grows with mastery and time. I think everyone can agree with that. But this gate knows that by accepting your low moments, it means it's time to spend time alone, that it's okay to withdraw when needed to be. You can, oh, this is supposed to say harness, not hardness. You can harness this energy and have an ability to find joy in emotional waves. For someone who has an emotional authority, I found a lot of peace in this. So, all right, cheers to all the gates. Thank you guys so much for listening to me blab about this stuff. I hope you learned something, and I will see you guys again soon. Thanks again for watching. My name is Sammy. Bye, guys. Love you all.